Hey, stop! You're being detained! Stop!
What's the ring?
Whoa, hey!
Hurry up the car!
On November 10th, 2015, in Horry County, South Carolina, the local police department was tipped off regarding a 26-year-old shoplifter by the name of LaQuandra Borden, driving away in her SUV after stealing some items from a nearby Walmart. As a result, 2 officers were dispatched to the scene, and after finding the suspect with her passenger, Chastity Stokes, detained them.
Nothing suspect.
Step out here. You have any weapons on you or anything like that? I don't have weapons. Alright, you're being detained right now for shoplifting, okay?
I didn't watch shoplifting.
Listen, I'm explaining it to you right now. You're being detained for shoplifting, so we're going to talk about it, alright? Step over here by my car. Right over here, man. We'll get it in a second. Man, we'll get it in a second.
I was at the door. You told me to come move my car on this side, and I moved it.
Listen to me real quick, okay? You're both being detained right now.
For what?
Listen to me for a second, okay? Calm down. You are being detained for shoplifting. That's why we're here, okay? Because the store lost of ma'am, listen to me.
I'm sorry.
Loss prevention employees at the store watch you guys steal some merchandise. I'm gonna read before you talk. I'm gonna read something real quick, okay? Because I'm telling you you're detained. You have the right to remain silent. You wish to waive your right to speak to me about what happened at this time. That is a yes or no. You want to talk about it? You waive your right to talk to me all the time. Yes or no? I can't talk to you until I get that.
Waive my rights. I don't want to waive my rights.
You don't want to talk to me about
Yeah, I'll talk to you.
Okay, that's a waiver of your rights.
You can say something that I have not said.
Okay, law prevention staff of the court has watched you guys steal merchandise from the clothes. Try to carry it out without paying.
Yeah, we didn't come out the door with anything.
Okay, did you conceal merchandise inside the store?
Yeah, I wanted the coat too.
Okay, what did you do with the merchandise?
It's still in the store. I told the lady I was coming back because I was calling my fiance to find out if that's okay if I charge my car. That's my thing because I ain't really going to call me that.
Well, you guys have been in there together. It's on the video. People have been watching, so I don't want to hear that.
I mean, I came down the car. I wasn't doing
After questioning them and searching their car, the officer allowed Miss Borden to re-enter her vehicle, while keeping the driver's side door open. What she did next, however, was appalling to say the least.
Hurry up the car! Get out of the car! Back up! Back up! Back up! Back up! Put in the car! Put in the car! Put in the car! Get out of the car now! Get out of the car!
In a shocking turn of events, the suspect soon tried to escape the consequences of her crime by driving away, disregarding the lives that she was endangering. Without question, by her actions, Miss Borden was liable for committing first-degree assault, which is a felony offense with a maximum prison sentence of 10 years. However, assault on a police officer is another, more serious version of the crime, and it automatically comes with higher penalties. As a felony, it can lead to jail time of up to 10 years and a fine ranging between $1,000 and $10,000. Even before her obvious attempt to evade the officers, she was already a hardened criminal who needed to face justice. Fortunately, the officers on the scene were unharmed by her reckless actions and began pursuing her in their vehicles. As the chase continued, Miss Borden tried to evade the officers. At this point, the crime of shoplifting was the least of her worries, since evading arrest and fleeing from the police have their own severe penalties. Depending on the situation, a person could face fines or even prison sentences, along with other consequences. If caught, they could be charged with a misdemeanor offense, which is punishable by up to a 3-year jail sentence and a fine of up to $5,000. In some cases, the crime may be considered as a felony, which increases the penalty to 5 years in jail, along with a fine of up to $10,000. Moreover, for a felony charge, one's driver's license would likely be suspended or revoked for at least a year. Also, since she was ultimately resisting arrest via her little stunt, she was liable for being charged with resisting with violence, which encompasses situations where the officer encounters harm during the attempted arrest. In South Carolina, this offense is classified as a felony, and the legal consequences are more severe. Those convicted of resisting arrest with violence may face imprisonment of up to 10 years and/or a hefty fine. Unfortunately for our getaway driver, these charges were about to be put into effect as the officers grew ever closer to her vehicle.
Somebody hit a Walmart?
As the guilty party continued to increase her speed, so did the number of fines she was racking up. According to state law, considering her excessive speeding, Miss Borden was liable to receive a monetary penalty of $350 with 6 points on her license. However, that didn't stop her, as she continued to plow her way through traffic. As if she hadn't racked up enough charges, our criminal on the run decided to tack on one more. With the way she shoved another vehicle, causing it to back up, Miss Borden now gained the misdemeanor charge of reckless driving, which, in addition to 6 points on your license and a $445 fine for South Carolina drivers, can get you a reckless driving ticket, which in South Carolina can carry residual financial penalties, such as thousands of dollars in annual increased insurance premiums. Also, if Miss Borden were to get convicted of reckless driving again, her driver's license would be automatically suspended for 3 months. Getting 3 convictions within 3 years will result in being called a habitual offender and having her license revoked, on top of the penalties for a first offense. Furthermore, by bumping into another person's vehicle, Miss Borden was liable for committing malicious injury to personal property, which can be considered a misdemeanor or felony offense, depending on the cost to repair the damage or replace the property. In this specific case, it could be considered as a felony, thus resulting in a fine and the discretion of a court, along with a maximum of 5 years in prison. After a few more minutes, Miss Borden ultimately couldn't keep up the chase anymore, which led to the officers finally catching up to her and arresting her. According to the arrest warrants issued later, Miss Stokes and Miss Borden shoplifted several items valued at over $2,000, including electronics, clothing, and other items, by placing them in a plastic tub in a shopping cart and moving them out of Walmart through a garden exit. In the end, Miss Stokes was charged with 3 counts of shoplifting and criminal conspiracy and was later released on November 18th on bond. Miss Borden, on the other hand, was charged with shoplifting, first-degree assault and battery, hit and run, and criminal conspiracy, thus being sentenced to 7 years in prison. Next up, on March 20th, 2024 in Albuquerque, New Mexico, the local police department's mounted unit was patrolling the area near Central and Coors when they suddenly got a tip about a shoplifter at a nearby Walgreens. Upon confronting the suspect, 30-year-old Mark Chacon, they would find him refusing to comply with orders and trying to flee on foot. Unfortunately for him, though, he was outmatched by the speed and stamina of the officer's unusual mode of transportation.
Did he steal something? Come on. Hey, stop! You're being detained! Albuquerque police! Stop! You're being detained! Come on! Come on! Stop! Albuquerque police! You are being detained! Stop! 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 You're being detained! Stop! Albuquerque police, stop!
Instead of handing himself over to the police, Mr. Chacon kept insisting that he wasn't guilty of his crime as he walked away from the officer. According to the 2023 New Mexico Statutes, Chapter 30, Criminal Offenses, Article 22, resisting, evading, or obstructing an officer consists of intentionally fleeing, attempting to evade, or evading an officer of the state when the person committing the act of fleeing, attempting to evade, or evasion knows that the officer is attempting to apprehend or arrest him. Furthermore, whoever commits aggravated fleeing of a law enforcement officer that does not result in injury or great bodily harm to another person is guilty of a 4th-degree felony, which is precisely what Mr. Chacon would later find himself in trouble for.
Stop! You need to stop or force will be used against you. You understand me? Get on the ground. Get on the ground. Come on. Get on the ground. You're being detained. Get out of the road. You are not free to leave. Do you understand? Force will be used against you. You are being detained for suspected shoplifting.
You are not free to leave. Not free to leave. Do not move.
Eventually, the other officers on horseback surrounded Mr. Chacon and arrested him. Officers said that Mr. Chacon faced several charges for stealing $230 worth of merchandise. In the city of Albuquerque, this would be considered as misdemeanor petty theft and result in a prison sentence of 6 months. Lastly, on April 28, 2024 in West Seattle, Washington, local police officers were about to enter a pharmacy near 16th Avenue and South Roxbury Street when suddenly, out of nowhere, they came upon 2 individuals, 40-year-old male and female, coming out of the store carrying a cash register, resulting in a fairly awkward encounter.
What's going on? Whoa! Whoa! Hey! Hey! Put that down.
Yes.
Put your hands behind your back. Hands behind your back right now. Take your backpack off.
When one of them was being detained, the other suspect quickly ran away. It should be noted that in any shoplifting case in Washington state, the value of the merchandise stolen determines the severity of the penalties imposed for the crime. Shoplifting falls under 3 general categories, with associated penalties and consequences upon conviction. In this case, since the 2 individuals stole an entire register's worth of cash, one can conclude that they were liable for second-degree theft, which is a Class C felony that can result in 5 years of prison, along with a maximum fine of $10,000. In any case, after witnessing the male suspect take off, another officer ran after him to arrest him.
Two Frank. 9451. He's hiding. I can see him from where I'm at if I can get into my location. Show me your hands.
That's not me.
Down on the ground now.
That's not me, sir.
Two Frank, he's not
Sir, it's
cooperating.
not
Down on the ground now.
It's not me, sir.
I'm gonna get pepper spray. Go pursuit.
Rather than accept his crime and come quietly though, the male suspect fled from the officer. However, this would only make his situation worse, as attempting to elude a police officer is a Class C felony, which is punishable by imprisonment for up to 5 years, a fine of up to $10,000, or both. Furthermore, if one is convicted of attempting to elude a police officer in a vehicle, their license to drive could be revoked or suspended. After a backup officer arrived on the scene, he helped to apprehend the suspect.
Get down, please, get on the ground! Get on the ground! Get on the ground!
Get on the ground.
Get down on the ground now! Do not move! Stop!
Whoa!
Turn
You
around!
on your stomach!
Turn around!
It wasn't even me!
While the officers were conducting their investigation on the female, she attempted to conceal a handgun, but thankfully it was located by the officers, who subsequently seized it as evidence. Fortunately, it was never used in the crime. The officers also had probable cause to arrest the 40-year-old male for assault. In the end, the male was charged with obstructing a law enforcement officer and was arrested for a previous incident of domestic violence by the King County Sheriff's Office and booked into South Correctional Entity Jail, whereas the woman was booked into King County Jail for theft and unlawful carry of a pistol.